I'm Jade Simmons, and we're back with yet another episode of Emerge Already, tips to lessen the plight of the aspiring concert artist. Tonight's topic is a juicy one. We're talking about competitions. To compete or not to compete? That is the question. I don't know about you, but I'm a natural-born competitor. I love all things competition. I'm even competitive with the women in my aerobics classes, so I eat, live, breathe, sleep competition. Still yet, I discovered that I was not a competition player. Now, that didn't mean that I just cut out competitions altogether, but what it did mean is that I had to be very careful and specific about the types of competitions that I entered. What you're going to first have to do, and you've heard me say this before, is you're going to need to take a brutally honest assessment of your strengths and weaknesses as a performer. You have to choose competitions wisely based on those specific strengths, and then you have to go into them with your eyes wide open. You're also going to have to accept the fact that winning one competition does not necessarily mean that you're on the way to a super career. You're going to need to consider a long list of pros and cons, and that's going to be really important in determining whether or not competitions are really the route for you. Con number one, the application. The packet itself is a competition. Just to be accepted into the screening round for the Clyburn, for instance, they don't even require an audio or a video recording, but they require everything else, from the easy stuff like photos and bios, but they also want to see the not-to-be-fake specifics like your current concert calendar, press clippings, reviews, letters of recommendation from renowned figures in the world of the arts, and finally a very serious essay. Now, most competitions are going to require a recording of some sort, mostly an audio recording. Nowadays, many require a video recording. So if keeping this kind of paper trail turns you off, then competitions might not be for you. So you've gotten accepted into big name international music competition, and it's going to change your life just as soon as you scrounge up the money to get to the darn competition. Most competitions don't have the money to bankroll your flight, your accommodations, and your meals. So as a competitor, you need to be prepared to cover your transportation and possibly even your lodging, though many competitions today do provide host homes or discounted hotel rates for you. Now, let's get down to the music aspect of all of this. Con number three, the brutality of the prelims. Yeah, music is about expression, but competitions, in addition to top-notch musicality, holds power, technique, mental and physical stamina in equally high regard. Judges have to be sure that they're choosing winners who can stand up to the rigors of the touring lifestyle. So getting past the preliminary round, if you're so lucky to do that, of any big competition is a serious feather in your cap, because it means that you most likely have technical prowess, and you also probably have very interesting things to say musically. Con number four, playing on demand, possibly at ungodly hours without much warm-up time on the instrument or in the hall. Everyone has a pre-performance routine that they can practically throw out of the window when it comes to competitions. Competitions are for the people who can adjust, adapt, and even thrive under less than ideal situations. This next con is a pretty serious one. It's the repertoire hurdles. If you eat Bach for breakfast, Beethoven, Schubert for lunch, Rachmaninoff for dinner, then you're probably carrying the kind of repertoire that you're going to need to be successful in competitions, especially major competitions. So if you're competing only for exposure and you want to make a splash, then by all means, bring your eclectic program to the forefront. But a serious contender needs to have a really serious grasp of just about all the standard composers and periods. This next one is a biggie, and that's the unnatural pressure in performance. If your dreams of a big-time concert career are realized, let it be known that there will be pressure. Pressure to pack concert halls, pressure to play big repertoire, pressure to please audiences and presenters, pressure to play your best, pressure to win over critics, pressure, pressure, pressure. Competition pressure, on the other hand, is founded on intense and very tangible scrutiny for the purpose of scrutiny. You have to be ready for that kind of intense scrutiny and pressure if you want to be successful in competitions. This next one is the one that I hear the most complaints about, and that's the politics of competition. Many a competitor has walked away embittered by the competition process, not because of the aforementioned pressures or the repertoire demands, but because they got wind of the fact that the end results may have had nothing to do with how they played, but with whom they knew. And it has to be admitted that politics can and often do come into play. There's no way to get around this. You have to decide that you're either going to compete and forget about this and hope that your playing is magical enough to surmount all of these obstacles, or you just don't do competitions. Finally, you have to really think about the long-term effects of failure. You can't win them all. You should never put your artistic self-confidence at risk over something that really doesn't matter in the big scheme of things in the end. So, in conclusion, if you feel completely brutalized by this list of cons, then competitions are probably not for you. On the other hand, if just hearing this list gets your juices flowing and brings out the inner champion in you, then competitions are probably a good bet. Let's move on to the reasons why you should compete, otherwise known as the pros. The first really great thing about competition is that they could mean more money and more concerts. That's always a good thing. If you can make it into one of the top prize-winning slots, and if you can compete and place at enough competitions, there is decent money to be made. Many of the smaller competitions can offer a few thousand when it comes to winning, and in the major competitions, they can offer tens of thousands of dollars. Also, other competitions offer things like future concert engagements, concert management, and even instruments as part of the prize package. Another good reason to compete is exposure. Depending on the profile of the competition, simply showing up and playing well, even without winning, can be of benefit. Think about the fact that there's usually press coverage. At higher profile competitions, sometimes artist management firms are in the audience, radio, television representatives, record labels could all be there to hear you play. Many of them are looking to discover the next big talent, and we all know that that's not always the person who goes home with the top prize. So exposure can be a good reason in itself to compete. Another really great advantage of doing competitions is the fact that you're going to build your repertoire. As anyone that competes will tell you, there's nothing that lights a fire under you and your practice time like getting ready for a competition. So if you are competing now, enjoy the luxury of being able to saturate yourself and to focus solely on this new repertoire that you're learning for this competition. That kind of preparation that you're putting in now will definitely benefit you in the future in your professional concert career. Another really great aspect of being in competitions is the sheer fact that it builds tremendous confidence. Even if you don't take home the top prize, the confidence and the self-esteem that you're going to build from simply playing well in a competition is worth a lot. Knowing that you have the chops to play at your highest level, no matter the circumstance, can do a lot to benefit the psyche. And being able to deliver the goods no matter the time of day is something that's definitely going to benefit you. Finally, one of the best reasons to compete, a career is born. Maybe. Gone are the days when winning the Tchaikovsky International Piano Competition garnered you a ticker tape parade down Wall Street. So these days, only a handful of competitions actually have management opportunities in place that will help you turn your momentary victory into a steady stream of concerts. So even if you win a competition, it's still going to be up to you to become the boss of your own art, to develop your brand, to find your niche, all the things we've talked about now numerous times previously. Your career is still going to be up to you. Like I said in the beginning, competitions really do bring out the inner athlete in all of us, and that's fine. But we have to remember that even more important than winning the top prize is making sure that when we step on whatever stage it is that we step on, that we have something musically special to say. And that uniqueness must come out even in a competition setting. A lot of negative things are often said about competition. Some people think they should be abolished altogether. I can definitely understand that point of view. I just happen not to agree. I love competition. I love the idea of music competitions. I'm just not a competition player. But maybe you are. Think about it. See you right here next week on Emerge Already.